Yeah, hi. So, welcome all to this week's podcast, and thanks everyone who is here and listening to this our podcast called Minimalist Techie. And thanks to all the new subscribers who got added since last 1 week, and who are still listening to the podcast. And I request you to please leave a review on the uh, Apple Podcast so that others can also find it pretty easily. So, just like every week, uh, I really appreciate you being here and so that we can weekly talk about very interesting topics. So, I'm going to leave uh, my website link in the show notes, which is sridhargaripati.substack.com. So, please feel free to subscribe so that you don't have to miss any post. You will directly get it on your email, or you can go to website and directly see all the archives as well. Mostly, I'm writing since last many weeks in a newsletter format because that's what seems many people are showing interest rather than writing in one individual topic. So, just like any other week, this weekly newsletter is mostly about the articles, books, videos, whatever I read, watch, and my viewpoint on different topics, which revolves around my head during entire week. So let us dive into this week's whatever I have read so far. So let's talk about those. Our first topic is digital nomad. So not really a topic to talk about in detail. Just that we have previously did this topic because one of the reader asked me about digital nomad, and I met one digital nomad while I was in Boston a couple of years ago. So I did one article on it. So recently we are reading a lot more news about the digital nomad and the related visas in order for them to legally work anywhere in the countries. So the recent news basically uh, at that particular time, the countries were actually giving a visa to attract international tourists to come legally in and work in their countries. Right now, the trend is moving within the country as well, where people who are already working legally, immigrants or the citizens of the country as well. Few cities, especially in US, are giving almost $10,000 or moving expenses to attract remote work people to come to their particular locations. So I'm going to just give you that particular link in the show notes. So please go through it. And the only reason I'm not talking much about it because we have already talked about it. We have done a podcast on it. We know what are digital nomads and all that. But yeah, the trend is going pretty well. And yeah, that's the reason doing a quick shout out in this particular week's newsletter to mention about the digital nomad. See, I just wish this becomes more and more of a trend. The jobs which can be done from anywhere in this world should actually allowed by every means to do the work remotely. Right? See, this will allow a lot of employment to get generated, and because see, people are always restricted to certain locations. Right? Say, even some people get a good opportunity, then they always restrict to certain location. People search for the jobs around that particular location. Yeah, that I feel like being in a prison and that type of a situation when someone is people should be actually allowed to move anywhere as long as they're working. And if you're working, then actually you're helping your country uh, in economy and any other place, right? So as long as you're employable, that's good for yourself and also for the country. So I definitely that's my quick shout out in this particular weekly newsletter for this one. That's for digital nomad. So second, we'll talk about qualities defining leadership. Uh, so this is basically I just glanced one of the article in the LinkedIn, and one of the most famous author has written has started a newsletter himself in the LinkedIn, a 6 or 9 series talking about the leadership. I really like the particular article. That's the reason we are going to talk a little bit talk about what's been written in that article and mostly my viewpoints. I'm going to leave that shown link about that particular article so you can directly read that particular article yourself. But let's talk about what basically what I read and basically what's my viewpoint on it. Yeah, a true leader is not someone who is a hero. He is someone who can inspire others to achieve a common goal, right? Common objectives. When we talk about inspiration, it is not just any town hall meeting where a CEO will walk in for an hour and have a 5 minute Q&A, uh, Q&A, and at the end say these are our objectives, these are our short term and long term goals, and let's meet in the next quarter. See, even the message is spread. It launches only in a core circle of the CEO and mostly in the core circle of people only. It never reaches to the every employee of an organization, as an example. I remember when I was in a prior organization, when certain pretty good initiatives were being took, I was really excited, Sachana. But as an individual employee, I'm stuck in my existing position, my existing client place, because that's where I'm doing pretty good. No one want to pick me because it's not good for them to pick us and assign to some other newer opportunity in the organization. So mostly, like, even sometimes at a higher level, even a good message is there, it doesn't reaches every employee of an organization. So why I'm talking about this as an example is because, see, to really bring a change, a leader communication is not just that one session or a repetitive weekly reminder of it. See, what are the message someone is sharing? Basically, it should get into their people heads, their breath, their day-to-day life. One should get resonated with so much detail. Like, you can compare to how during a freedom fight, or during a freedom fight, a fighter only thinks about his freedom and his or her freedom and what it means to himself or his next generation of lives. Right? See, when such a powerful message is shared, and everyone in a team, department, organization, state, country, right, in an entire world, I would say, when such a powerful message has been shared, everyone breathes the same vision as a leader. So then someone is communicating at that level, that much deep. That guy is, if you can call it as a true leader. See, for me, I don't believe in leaders are born, or basically anyone can be a leader. It's just that we'll talk about one more topic, like genius, right? So people can have a talent, but in order to become a genius, people should have certain traits, right? So we can work on certain traits in order to become a leader, become a genius, right? So for me, a leader should be thoughtful, should be humble, and can show empathy in every aspect of life. So showing empathy is pretty important for a leader. Take an example of politics. See, there are points raised by a left side party and right side party. We don't need another person who will simply blame each other. We would need a, a one who is very thoughtful, able to hear both sides of the parties and conclude what is best interest of the people, not about whose point is one is lean to. In any conflict situation, a leader is the one who can view both sides and decide with an honesty and lead others towards a common path. So I'm going to share the particular link which I read on the article on the LinkedIn. The particular article, it talks about top 5 principles which defines leadership. Is is summarized well, and do subscribe to the upcoming detailed topics from the same author. So on the show notes, I'm going to mention that particular link. The article actually stopped me, and when I read it, definitely it raised many points in my head. I was thinking about uh, multiple points. It was so well articulated. So I thought of worth of sharing it my weekly post. So any wider audiences who reads my Substack newsletter or listen to this particular podcast, they can also have a look at it if they have missed such a good reading. And so see, basically, it just talks about at high level. It talks about like 5 different principles, like ability. A leadership is a talent, skill, or proficiency, or a leader should be able to inspire, and a leader should be able to nurture other individual people, right? A leader should able to achieve a goal through his group of people, enabling they also entire every individual part of the group should be visualize the same group as a leader. Right? A leader should have shared objectives, and see if someone is working towards a greater objective, my ego, your ego, right? Individual persons' egos are not relevant anymore because that particular cause, the particular objective, it has a bigger cause because that's going to impact generation of lives. So that's the reason leadership is, yeah, you cannot summarize it, but there are certain traits, I would say, based upon which anyone can become a leader. I'm also going to share one of my earlier writing, which I have written around in year 2008. See, at that time, I was having 1 year of experience. I was fresh out of college in 2007, and 2008 I was 1 year old in the workplace. So at that particular time, I was also leading one particular project. Yes, in the career, I had certain opportunity. So even at that particular time, I had my own expectations for a leader or the leader I wanted to become in an early stage of career. So I might not have talked a very deep concept at that point of time. Maybe uh, my 21 year, 22-year-old, whatever that time the thought process were. I'm going to link that as well in the show notes. So basically, at that time, for me, the leader mostly I might have written that with respect to a team lead, or that's what, right? That as an initial rookie, my next step is to become a group of team leader, right? So maybe I have written that as a very quick point. So leader has to be fun, very good interactive with the people. They should show a strong decisiveness and should be very strong in their leadership, able to like deal with any disputes between the team, should able to appreciate work of individual team members, reward work of the other people, and lead from the front, and should be very honest and fair. So I guess even after after 13, 14 years as well, I guess my thought is still same, because if you see even in today's thought, I have written almost couple of points are still same, right? For me, a leader should be thoughtful, humble, honesty, should able to show empathy towards every aspect of life. So it seems my 21-year-old and it still resonates with me. Basically, my thought process of what I want to be leader is almost similar to it. But maybe that writing is a little bit different. You can see that rookie writing at that point of time. Okay. The next is like this third topic. Today we'll be talking about. Okay, let's do a separate podcast for this one. Basically, I just read one book and I really liked certain bullet points, and I said, okay, before I read it, I stopped reading it. Basically, the book is about some genius, how to be a genius, I would say. So it was trying to convey a personality traits of a genius person, how any individual person can become a genius, right? So there are certain traits. If we can achieve those type of traits, habits in our lifestyle, any person can achieve be a genius person. So I'll not want to let's do a separate detailed post, because I stopped reading it because I wanted to write my own view, my own visualization, and what should be in a personality of a genius person. Let's high level points which resonated with me quickly, which come to my mind, is a genius person should have a childlike imagination. They should be very curious like the children. We talked about like the remember we talked about the learning for an adult. So childlike imagination, curiosity is very important. That's what help adults, and even especially the neuroscience has also proved it, that even adult can get into certain childlike imagination only by doing having a proper sleep and having a unintentional and unconditional focus on it. Like you should be in a pretty strict. You should be very hardly focused on certain for half an hour if you want to learn something. So that's like childlike imagination, curiosity. Concentration, should able to concentrate and whatever work someone is doing, should be very passionate about what they are doing, should obsess it about. right? Obsession is their quality. Whatever they're working for a bigger goal, they're very obsessed towards their work. And talk about work, yes, they will have higher work ethics. They're very original in their ideas, original in their work, original in themselves. They're very resilient in every aspect of life. I should say, ability to fail and again come back to prep again to try it out. Ethics, good ethics, right? So that's very important. Just like we talked about work ethics, but uh, not just work ethics, right? Personal ethics as well, right? So any good ethics, so there's certain type of traits. I just stopped reading that book because I wanted to write on my own, so that because I don't want the reading to influence my writing. So let's definitely, I'm just adding this as into my show notes this time. Even in this weekly newsletter, just that I have bullet points only. I'm not talking about it in detail. uh, we'll just definitely will do a separate post and separate podcast on this particular topic. And fourth one, yeah, this is one of the fourth topic is one of the TED video which I was looking. Actually, I have written something couple of weeks ago. It was sitting in my draft, and suddenly I stumbled upon a TED video, and it was almost similar to what I was writing. So then I have picked up that particular draft. My draft was a little bit different. But I this particular TED video was resonated a lot more, and it's articulated the point very well. So basically, this is for working couple, what love will do to their life. That's a topic. So it's not very easy for a two working couple to have an easier conversation, and when one can get exciting opportunity to move to a different city, state, or country, we have seen couples in our lives of two types. See, one who take most of their hard conversations very bitterly, and there will be some on other side whom these conversations are satisfactory to both individuals. See, difference is two people having such conversations can come out by choosing what they really want. Another couple decides based on how they choose those together, right? So I'm going to mention one TED video in the show notes. Please look at it, and it is pretty short, and but it makes points very well in that short video. So my summary is couples should communicate more often about their thoughts rather than baking them in their heads. They should be very honest with each other, consider each other's work of the same equal quality, right? Equality should be there. Mm. They should not, irrespective of what each brings to the table, type of a job, what income, etc. Doesn't matter what it is, should consider each other's work of the same equality. Consider each other career goals equally, and settle, for sure they have to settle to some common grounds and points to follow. Okay, so definitely this particular video will talk especially for a couple, and but in the draft basically what I was writing was almost a similar lane, but I would say mine was a little bit different, but talking about the same point what this particular video is also talking about. So mine was basically I'm a single earner in my family, so my spouse doesn't work. So we stay in a certain. I am an immigrant in the United States. So my wife initially when she came in, she was not allowed to work here legally. So she was not allowed to work. She came as an independent. Later on, yes, she had the opportunity to start working. Then we had babies, and we put that idea aside. But every time, right, we have this conversation at home whenever we talk about like if I have to change a job to a different location, right? So if I'm trying to try out something new in my job, or say sometime we sit together, and even right now my other half is not working, but we still have certain discussions. If at all we go back to India, which state we have to be together, or what type of job one will do, right? So these conversations are pretty important for a couple to have. And I would say schedule something on your calendar. Please talk about it. There's no point in baking your thoughts in your heads. So yeah, leave my part. Mine was Right now, maybe I have to write it in pretty well so that I can articulate publicly the particular point. But definitely, this video definitely sounded pretty good for me, so I'm sharing the link in the show notes. The topic is managing an underperformer at work who thinks they are doing great. Yep. So every one of us will face such resource in our team occasionally, right? See, one end you're trying to build an A team, your star team, and you see a few in the team are lagging the same zeal as others, and they lag in their deliverables, which impact the overall delivery of your team. See, either they know themselves or not, they seem to project as completely unaware of such an issues. That's why our title is How to Manage an Underperformer at Work who thinks that they are doing great when. Especially it is very hard, and you know that, right? Performance reviews is not is not an easier talk to have. So I would say first step is talk to them directly and share the issue in a very humble way so they get it right. So to do that, what is expected out of them should be very clearly mentioned. Even it is pretty expected, pretty known to them, but I would say clearly mention that at this particular load you are supposed to do so and so activities. This is what expected out of you on a day-to-day deliverable level, right? And expectations set it properly so that both of you are on the same page. No need to do a call out on the past. So just given a feedback on the actual deliverables, what happened, and have the conversation in such a way so that they also see that yes, what are we are discussing, yes, it is impacting to a team. So work along with them so that they are also in the same page with you to improve themselves. Uh, and do make sure that it's not just that one meeting. Do give them all required resources so they can perform well. Not simply assume that one meeting they will simply come back and they will become a performer again. Be in a regular touch and make sure that they have the required support and have a plan for their improvement. Okay, do proper check-ins, making sure that they are on their plan for the improvement. Definitely have a continuous feedback on the deliverables. Be fair in the process. See, you must believe in the process yourself first before asking the next person to believe in you, right? Don't give up early just because someone is not meeting the expectations, right? You're having this conversation because someone is not meeting. So there's a possibility that you will be giving up very early. So I would say don't give up early. So even someone is not meeting your expectation, this is a two-way process so that you can share a constructive feedback and you have a plan and given a chance that other person is also coming back, maybe sitting in that dark where they are even not even aware of that they are impacting the team, right? Because they simply think they are doing well. So I'm going to refer an article by Harvard Business Review. It is pretty damn good written, I would say. Mm. Uh, at least for me, I read it at the right time. Because during this time of the year, I'm going to one type of an issue, and this article resonated to me. Actually, helped me for sure to how to handle such situations, right? So the pretty big problem, according to me, they're not talking about the article link. Article link I will mention in the show notes. You can give a good read about it. At high level, we already discussed about how to manage an underperformer, but at least for me, the pretty big problem, according to me, right now is in an organization, tasks are not well defined for a particular role. See, manager and resource needs to be on the same page. What is expected out of them, and this is pretty especially true for an higher positions. People come in at higher positions, the lot is expected out of them. There is no proper roadmap being given, and suddenly out of a blue, someone comes back and say, "Boss, you are not doing anything." And see, they are there will be managers who will be quiet all year and they come back at the end of the year at the time of performance review with a negative feedback. Entire 1 year they were simply calm and they know because people sometimes people don't want to hurt others' feelings and but at the time end of the year when someone has to do performance review then they simply come back and give all negative feedback that someone is an assumption that they are doing well all entire year. See, this is not going to help an employee or an employer both. So next issue, so first issue is have constructive feedback. uh, Tasks should be well defined. That's the pretty biggest one many companies face actually. And next issue is, yeah, know it all gurus in the industry. These are the, you have seen it, I have seen it. These are the people who hardly know one chapter or two chapters about the subject, or they do a simple Udemy course on it, and they call themselves as a guru or that know it all culture. Boss, I know everything. They read one chapter of the latest technology and they say, okay, boss, I am all in. I know everything in it. So you see a lot of these type of people in organizations, and they literally impact the teams. Someone is pretty hard worker, someone is a very good subject matter expert, and maybe this type of person is leading them, right? So these type of people have toxic culture in workplace. And see, know it all culture, learn it all is always bad actually. See, every one of us has to be a subject matter expert. They should be they should be always in a growth of a learning mindset always. See, there's a room. I believe there is room for every one of us for an improvement, irrespective of how proficient, how excellent, how genius we are. So that's what makes us human. Hmm? Everybody has a room for improvement. I'm again saying that's what make it as a human. Yeah. So these are the quick high level topics, and I'm going to mention what are the links, videos, what are I have mentioned in this article in our podcast show notes. So do subscribe our Apple Podcast if you prefer audio version of all of my articles, and please do subscribe to our channel, which is Minimalist Techie, or you can just hear it on my website as well. If you don't have, mostly you can find it on other podcast wherever you try to listen. In the listentunes.com somewhere, or you have access to my website, Sridhar Party, yes, my name, .substack.com. I'll mention it in the show notes. So do let me know in the comments, leave a review, reply me or an email, or share what is your view on this particular post. So do share, like, subscribe, whatever these days kids says, right? So stay connected, share ideas, spread happiness. Thank you.